Okay. Good evening. Today is May 6th, 2025. This is the Town of Auburn Finance Committee meeting. It's 5:30 p.m. We're meeting in the presentation room at the Auburn High School to go over some transfers. This meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. And all we have this evening for is some transfers that needed to be facilitated this evening. The first one is the police department.
Where would you like you
I don't know. Yeah, why don't you? I think you just switch.
to switch chairs?
The new technology will pick you up there. So,
Quiet to answer her phone.
Deputy Chief Mills, you want to give us some insight on these?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yep, it's $60,000 coming from the dispatcher salary line and $5,000 coming from the patrol officer salary line. As of right now, we're down technically 5 bodies on the patrol side. And, you know, as I usually come in around about this time of year, until today I've forgotten about, there was a town election too, so that's not even in my calculations. But, you know, we run into all the special events, whether it's Memorial Squares, Memorial Day Parade, fireworks, and then of course heavy lead time, you know, through May and June. But we have the 3 officers that are in the academy. They're not, you know, available to help us. And then we have 1 officer out on a fairly lengthy IOD, and then another officer who's on administrative leave. So as of right now, we're down those 5 bodies. So it's, you know, it's costing us overtime to fill shifts, and it's just we're a little short right now as far as bodies go. So we're hoping that changes in the near future. But that's basically what all the what the transfers are for, is just a backfill shift coverage and you know, to account for the special events.
Any questions?
Seeing that this comes up at this time of year through the chair to the town accountant, are we making provisions in the New Year's budget to sort of account for some of this overtime, so we're not doing such a large transfer at the end of the year for it?
Well, that was a very good question. Do you remember if the overtime budget was increased?
It was increased a moderate amount. You know, as the fire chief has said in the past, and it applies to us, is the amount is usually kept lower for the initial budget presentation, or the initial budget process. And then I think the thought process is at some point there'll be other salary money that may become available through either unfilled positions or you know, changes in steps and whatnot. And generally that has been the case, but
I guess my thought is, and I sensed that was going to be the answer, but wouldn't it be more prudent to increase the line by 30 or 40,000, knowing that we're always asking for 60 annually, and then knowing that that's there, and then coming to us for, it's just that, you know, we're getting towards the end of the fiscal year, and I think given that it's coming from, you know, the dispatcher's account, it just sort of throws the impression that we're really overfunding our dispatcher's account, that's all.
the reason that there's that amount of money left in the dispatcher account is they're budgeted, that department's budgeted for 11 bodies, and the highest they could get up to this year was 9. As of right now, there's 1 person in the 9/11 Academy. But that's essentially what the surplus is attributed to, is to those 2 unfilled positions essentially for the entire fiscal year.
Great. Thank you.
Additional questions?
If I
Absolutely.
could, there actually is an increase of $25,000 in the overtime for fiscal '26.
Right.
My question is just a little bit logistic. Do we always lump special events in with patrol overtime? And have we ever considered cutting those accounts to show what is patrol overtime and what we spend on special events?
I mean, obviously I could prepare some sort of report or breakdown as far as what we spend on, because it's all, just as the fire chief has said too, we track overtime probably over at least the same amount of categories, probably 30 or thereabouts. So when they do a special event, whether it's Memorial Day Parade or, you know, fireworks in this case, or the Memorial Squares, then they check off special events. So we'd be able to differentiate that from actual patrol backfilling. You know, I have general ideas and amounts about, you know, how many shifts we've had to replace due to the 2 officers that are out. with the admin leave and with the IOD situation. So I have that broken down apart from what I anticipate the cost. And like I said, I had completely forgotten to include the town election in that calculation, but we'll see how it goes. We were doing very well, quite frankly, to get to this point. And we had about 2 weeks ago, we had a couple of events that went on, and a lot of investigation over time, a lot of extra stuff, and it was almost a $15,000 week, which is at least 2 times what it normally would be at this time of year even, so.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful, I think we mentioned to the fire chief, to, see those breakdowns.
Sure.
Because a lot of time is time to cover people's earned time off. So people have vacation time they need to use, personal days, whatever, to see what the breakdown is, that those overtime costs aren't just for, are there because of, contractual time due, the members, in addition to special events, just to see those breakdowns, I think, not necessarily for, maybe for the next budget as we present to say, just to see what that breakdown looks like.
That's a great idea. I mean, I pay attention to it that way, and I obviously report that to the chief and we discuss it amongst the command staff, but yeah, that's great. I think it warrants an explanation anyways, so.
Just on the election, you said you didn't calculate that in, so you're thinking there may be a possibility you're gonna need to transfer more to cover that, or you're not quite sure?
I think this is gonna be enough. I mean, we're in the position now where we have to start denying days off, just because of the manning, the situation with personnel as far as shift allocations and, but ultimately that falls on, individual officer to kind of plan ahead. You know how much time you have, and you know how much time there is left in the year, so, they bear some responsibility in pre-planning a little bit. But yeah, I believe this will be enough. The CFO asked me, I pulled back about $5,000 actually because of what I anticipate will be there's an obligation we have to that officer that's on admin leave if we have to buy him before the end of the year, or pay off, rather, it's a bad word choice, but pay off his leave time, accrued time.
Additional questions? Okay, I'll read it into, sorry, do you have another one, Patrick? or-
No, I was just gonna make a motion for the 60,000, because we have to take them as 2 separate ones. Yeah, I know we talked sort of about them both, but I was gonna make a motion to approve the first one for.
Let me just read it in and then we'll.
Sure.
Yes, sir. So the first request is $60,000 coming from the dispatcher account, going to the overtime account. Reason given for the transfer of patrol operations, shift coverage / special events. We have a motion to approve
To
that.
approve.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Second one is, the amount is $5,000 coming from the patrol officers account, going to the overtime account as well. Same reason, patrol operations, shift coverage / special events.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Next one is from DPW Parks Division. Good evening, afternoon, we're right on the cusp of both. So this one here is $3,000 coming from Parks labor going to overtime. Reason given, transfers needed due to unforeseen callbacks. Want to just tell us what that?
So there are several reasons why our Parks division gets called back. I've noticed a lot more emails about lowering and raising flags for basically memorials, and other times, they get called in to, clean the bathrooms or, things that really can't wait. But, we're, I think, about $500 in the deficit in that overtime account. And we're gonna need to get through the election and 4th of July, so.
Are these callbacks all around town?
Yeah, so, it would be in the parks, so any of the porta potties or bathrooms, that would be the parks' responsibility. And then the parks is also responsible for lowering the, putting the flags, at past staff, so anytime that happens over the weekend, they come in to lower the flags. And then dusk.
Just a question, is there a contractual minimum number of hours they're paid for a callback?
4 hours.
4 hours. And are they, due to the contract, are they required to work 4 hours for that pay?
They're not
No.
hired.
For that one task, they
No.
need for it.
The-
Any additional questions on this one?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And not in favor? Not in favor. Thank you. DPW fleet is the next one. You want, I can come with that one, if only one out of order, or do you want to play musical chairs for a minute?
With that, can you hear me from here?
I can get you there, I think the camera, can the camera get up from there?
The camera would be better here, but.
Or slide up?
Down there?
Okay, so this one is coming from the reserve account, requested by the DPW Fleet Division. This is for motor vehicle repairs for the DPW. Amount requested $25,000. Leaves a balance in that account of $1392. What is it? That's the present balance. Present balance, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a comma, but it's, yeah, okay, we're gonna leave that. Reason given to cover budget shortage in the accounts. Cover the reason for the 25,000?
Sure, so this is for the DPW motor vehicle repair account, so as the committee's aware, we've been up against it at this time of year, as tends to be typical. We've had sort of a high number of repairs relative to our sweepers, some of our sidewalk machines. But it's really just, I mean, for the most part, other than some large ones there, it's been just sort of across the board general maintenance. There hasn't been a lot of other outliers. We have had a significant sweeper bill that we've been working through. I believe we have a new sweeper plugged into our CIP a year or two from now. So this one is coming up on the end. Our mechanic thinks that the repairs that we're expecting to do now should get us a few more years out of it. So I hope that this would be sort of the last bigger issue with the sweeper. But we'll see. So I'm projecting right now for DPW to need 30 to 40,000 by the end of the year. Right now, I'm requesting 25,000 out of the reserve account to get us into June. At that point, I'll have a better handle on the other accounts, fire, police, and our wages and overtime account to see if we can hopefully scab money out of each of those accounts and sort of level off through the end of the year. So I'm hopeful that this would be the last reserve account request, but I can't guarantee that, and I certainly can't predict everything that breaks down. Just related to that, fire right now is looking to be under budget through the end of the year, although they've been, their repairs have been kind of slow over the past few months because their mechanic has been out on medical leave. So they do have a little bit of a backlog of work. So we met with them. We're going to be doing as much as we can down in DPW. They're going to be sending some stuff out, so that could pick up a little bit, but I do still think they're going to end the year under budget. Police is going to be very close. I may need to transfer into police in June, but I'm going to get to June and see where we're at. And again, I'm hoping I can sort of get everything funded internally at that point, but we'll have a better idea in June where we're at. This is really to get us to that point right now.
Questions on this one?
You may not know, sorry, you may not know, like off the top of your head, but approximately how much is a new sweeper?
Oh, I should know that because I got a quote. I want to say it was around $250,000 to $300,000,
Okay.
something like that. It depends on the type of sweeper. So if
Yeah.
we get the exact same
I'm
type
not
of
gonna
sweeper
hold
we
you,
get,
I'm not gonna hold you to it, I'm just curious.
we've looked at different styles. We've looked at getting a smaller type of sweeper or smaller or a different style. So that's something that we would look at once we get to that point. But to replace it in kind, I believe it was that. I hope I'm not getting that mixed up with. I've looked at a few different.
Joanna did nod behind you for a second there, so I
Does that
think
sound
you're,
about
I think you're in the
Is
right.
that okay? Thanks.
And just to build on the purchase question, how much if the town, not to fix this one, they need to lease one, what would a lease be for a sweeping season?
I looked into renting.
Renting.
I looked into just contracting with a company to do sweeping. There's not a lot of companies that do it. and it was very expensive. I want to say it was like $30,000 or $40,000 a month for renting. So just one season would have been very, very much financially disadvantageous.
That's what I thought the answer would be. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to.
Well, we looked at all that.
We had the
This,
same.
this happened last year because we had a major issue with both our sweepers last year. We ended up getting by with much lower level of repairs than the initial assessment was. But we started going down this road last year. We looked at all these different options. What can we do? Can we lease? Can we rent? Can we, how do we get by? So I think these repairs are very much worthwhile to do. But yeah, they're both of our sweepers are getting up there in age.
Through the chair, if I may.
Absolutely.
Based on our MS4 permit, also, all of the, any MS4 town has to sweep their roads in the spring. So even if that was a possibility, we'd be competing with any other town that needs a sweeper at the same time.
Can you, sorry, what's the acronym?
So it's the national pollutant elimination system, so it's our permit through the state to discharge waters into the United States, so it's our stormwater permit
Okay.
to EPA. And so the majority of the towns, especially center of Massachusetts and east, have to have that permit. And everybody has to be sweeping their roads in the spring and possibly in the fall. So we're sort of all on the same boat. So not having those sweepers ourselves, we'd be competing with every other town that has that permit, or at least any town that's looking to, get into if they're in a situation like this where their sweeper is down.
Additional questions on the?
How long does it take to sweep the town?
I want to say that a lot of times it takes like 2 months.
That's if both sweepers are overrunning, I think.
Right.
Right.
Right now we have one down.
So I believe that we started in April and we have one recently done.
I do see them out there in the morning filling up at the hydrant every morning first thing, so.
That's right.
Yeah, clearly they're out there getting, out there as soon as they can, so.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve, all in favor? Also DPW Highway Division, this one is coming from the fuel account. My request is $1,500, transfer to the electric/traffic lights account. Reason given is transfers for unforeseen traffic light repairs.
We really can't forecast when those traffic lights break, and obviously they need to be fixed, so, and we use a vendor to repair them, so we don't do it in-house. And the cost is,
Do we have lights down currently, or are those repaired real time? Like if the police department calls, there's a lights out, does the vendor come in regardless, or?
we typically do, there's one light that's down right now, but we're trying to coordinate with the railroad company to allow us
At the
to.
bottom of the package, actually. Nice trash bag covering it.
We're not allowed to have police details over there. It has to be a railroad company employee to coordinate that, so we're trying to work with the
Well,
railroad.
maybe when they can fix the crossing while they're there.
I,
You lose
that was the
somebody in that
conversation.
crossing at the moment, it's
It's
unbelievable.
bad. It's bad.
that was the conversation that I had with them, so.
Any additional questions on the, this transfer?
Motion to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the last one is general services. This is coming from the electricity account. My request is $11,000 going to the water/sewer/heating account. The reason given to pay estimated utility invoices through fiscal year end.
I'm hoping that this will be enough. This is the account where several different municipal buildings, utilities are paid from. So I'm just kind of watching it, and at this point, we need some extra in there. We have some money left in the electricity account, so we're asking to transfer it from there. I think we're doing well with our solar credits with the electricity.
Patrick?
Just quickly, I just wanted to confirm, the vendors, now that it's May, are all being told we usually don't have a problem getting our year-end bills so that we can move the closing cycle. So we're pretty sure that we'll find out whether we're over or under before the beginning of, middle of June, I mean, the beginning of July,
Correct. Yeah.
right? Okay, so this is really not bad, 11,000 to get us all the way from May 6th to June 30th,
That's what I'm hoping. I'm
right?
just gonna keep
But we'll find out soon
close
enough right
eye on
after
it.
that.
Yeah.
Great.
Additional questions? Yeah.
And you don't think you're gonna need any electricity basically, or very little because of the solar credits we're getting back? Is that
Well,
the reason?
actually, that balance that's in there is the unencumbered or unobligated balance.
Oh.
We actually do have a balance that's in a purchase order to pay for the electricity through the end of the fiscal year.
Gotcha, okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Alright.
Very good. No additional transfers for tonight, no minutes to approve. We hear a motion, any additional?
Can we adjourn to town meeting? Is that what we just said?
I've seen it both ways, I don't,
I'm happy to just move to
Because-
adjourn. If nobody cares, then
because it's not really a requirement that the committee has to be there, I mean, if they want.
That's
Well, if you're a town meeting member, I mean, my experience in all these years have been the finance committee table does not stay empty. I'm sure you have to be there because you have to present, but I plan on taking a seat at the finance table and not the town meeting member chair, just so that the committees are presented. It looks good.
I'll be there.
Okay, we'll just take anybody for a motion to.
motion to adjourn.